Welcome to the tale of Homer's Odyssey. In the wine-dark sea, after the long war at Troy, one man still wandered. His name was Odysseus, king of Ithaca, husband of Penelope, father of Telemachus. The gods had not finished with him. Athena loved him, Poseidon hated him, and the road home was longer than any man should have to walk. Part 1. The Suitors. While Odysseus drifted, Ithaca waited. In the great hall of his palace, the suitors feasted night after night, young princes who claimed the king was dead, and the queen must choose a new husband. They drank his wine, slaughtered his cattle, and mocked his son. Telemachus, now a young man, sat among them burning with shame. One night, Athena came to him in disguise and whispered, "Go, seek news of your father. The time for silence is over." So Telemachus sailed to Pylos and to Sparta. Old Nestor remembered the war. Menelaus and Helen remembered Odysseus's cunning, but no one knew if he still lived. Part 2. The Wanderings. Meanwhile, the man himself was far away. First the Cicones, then the lotus eaters, whose fruit made men forget home. Then the cave of the Cyclops Polyphemus, son of Poseidon. Odysseus and his men were trapped. He gave the giant wine, told him his name was nobody, and when the Cyclops slept, they drove a sharpened stake into his single eye. Blind and roaring, Polyphemus rolled the stone from the cave mouth. The men escaped beneath the bellies of the sheep. As the ships pulled away, Odysseus could not keep silent. He shouted his true name. Poseidon heard, and the sea itself turned against him. Part 3. Circe, the Sirens, Scylla. They came to the island of Circe, the enchantress. She turned half the crew into swine. Odysseus, protected by Hermes' gift, forced her to change them back. For a year, they stayed. Circe warned him of what lay ahead. The sirens whose song no man can resist, the twin horrors of Scylla and Charybdis, and the cattle of the sun that must never be touched. They sailed past the sirens. Odysseus had his men bind him to the mast, so he alone could hear the deadly beauty of their voices. They lost 6 men to Scylla's 6 heads. They passed Charybdis' whirlpool, and on the island of the sun, the starving crew slaughtered the sacred cattle. Zeus answered with a storm that smashed the ships. Every man drowned, except Odysseus. Part 4. Calypso. He washed up on the shore of Ogygia, island of the nymph Calypso. She kept him 7 years. She offered him immortality if he would stay and be her husband. He refused. Every day he sat on the rocks, staring at the empty sea, weeping for home. At last, Athena persuaded Zeus. Hermes was sent. Calypso was ordered to let him go. She gave him tools, and he built a raft with his own hands. He sailed. Poseidon saw him and raised a final storm. The raft was broken. Odysseus swam, half drowned, until the sea cast him onto the land of the Phaeacians. Part 5. The Phaeacians and the Return. There the Princess Nausicaa found him, naked, crusted with salt, but still a king. In the hall of King Alcinous, he told his whole story. The Phaeacians, moved, gave him ships and treasure, and carried him home while he slept. They set him down on the shore of Ithaca at dawn and sailed away. Athena woke him. She disguised him as an old beggar. First he went to the hut of his loyal swineherd Eumaeus. There he found Telemachus, returned from his own journey. Father and son wept and embraced in secret. Together, they planned the end of the suitors. Part 6. The Bow. Odysseus entered his own hall as a beggar. The suitors mocked him, threw stools, laughed. Penelope, still faithful after 20 years, announced a contest. Whoever could string Odysseus's great bow and shoot an arrow through 12 axe heads would win her hand. One by one, the suitors tried. None could even bend the bow. Then the beggar asked to try. They laughed harder. He took the bow. He strung it as easily as a man strings a lyre. He sent the arrow singing through every axe head. Then he threw off the rags. "Dogs," he said, "you thought I would never return." With Telemachus and 2 loyal servants, he turned the hall into a slaughterhouse. Arrow after arrow, spear after spear. When the last suitor fell, the house was quiet except for the sound of blood. Part 7. Recognition. The old nurse Euryclea recognized the scar on his leg and nearly cried out. Penelope still tested him. She ordered the marriage bed moved, the bed Odysseus himself had built around a living olive tree. No one else knew that secret. When he spoke of it, her knees gave way. She ran to him. Husband and wife held each other through the long night, while Athena held back the dawn so they could have more time. Part 8. Closing. So the wanderer came home. The sea had taken years from him. The gods had tested him. But the man who left for Troy returned at last to his own bed, his own wife, his own son, and the olive tree that still grew through the heart of his house. That is the story the blind poet Homer sang. That is the Odyssey. And still the wine-dark sea waits for the next traveler who thinks the journey is finished.